Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Chirco, and I am the author of the book Humanitarian Woman, My Personal Encounters with Mother Teresa and How She Changed My Life Forever. I am very honored to be here tonight on this special Mother's Day show with my remarkable mother, Marieta Chirco. And the two of us are so happy to share our unbelievable experience of having had the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of meeting and being blessed by the one and only Mother Teresa. This special privilege would have never happened had it not been for my mother's generous deed of teaching the Sisters of Mother Teresa in Durrës, Albania, our hometown, the English and Albanian languages for 3 years, 5 hours, every day free of charge. Mother Teresa is considered an epitome of kindness and love by millions all around the world. And millions all around the world dreamt of seeing her. But yet again, here I was, along with my family, we had the opportunity of meeting her, speaking with her, having a heartfelt conversation with her, and being blessed by her. I am so happy that all of you will get to hear this special encounter directly from my mother, Marieta Chirco, who was the inspiration behind Humanitarian Woman. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my mother, Marieta Chirco.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here in such a beautiful program of TV. I'm going to tell you the story with Mother Teresa. It was September 23rd, 1991. It was my son's birthday, and I had an unexpected knock at the door. It was my friend Violeta who came and told me that Sister Clarice, who was the superior of the sisters, the missionaries of charity, wanted to meet me and give a message from Mother Teresa. I was so happy. We went to the house of the missionaries of charities. All the sisters were waiting for me. We entered the chapel, and Sister Clarice took the word. She said, "Marieta, Mother Teresa has two things for you. One will be that you have to teach all the Albanian girls English, and then all other sisters coming from 81 countries from English, the Albanian language. I know that this is very difficult. Whatever contract you want to sign, we'll be happy to." Then I stood up and I said, "Sister Clarice, I'm here in the chapel and I'm in a charity house, so I want to do it for charity." When she heard this, she never heard this from any other teacher in the world. So she came to me, she put the hands in my forehead and said, "God will bless you all your life." So the next day the mission began. Don't forget, 3 years, 5 hours every day. So I began to teach the sisters, and you know it was so difficult because Albanian language is really very, very difficult from other languages. But with my patience, I tried to do everything excellent. After 3 years, Mother Teresa came to Albania to visit Albania. So when she came to the House of Missionaries of Charity in Durrës, she saw that the sisters were communicating very well with the Albanian people, and she was amazed. Don't forget, Mother Teresa was from Albania. And she said, "Who is your teacher?" And they said, "Marieta Chirco. Please, this Wednesday, I want a private visit from her with the family with me. I have to bless this woman for what she has done." Believe me, I couldn't sleep that night. It was such a big joy. People don't have this chance, but thanks God I had this chance. So I took my family and went there, and we were going to the second floor, and Mother Teresa was waiting for me at the steps. She was a short woman, barefoot. Simplicity surrounded her, so simple. She embraced me. Her eyes were shining full of joy because she saw me. She met all my family, and then we sat down and began to talk together. One night before, I had seen a movie about Mother Teresa, such a beautiful one. So I took first the word, and I told Mother Teresa about everything that I saw in the movie. And then she told me, now it's my turn. I want to ask you, why did you do this for free? And I said, Mother Teresa, the answer is very simple. You work for the poorest of the poor. You do it for charity. And I am following your example. I am doing it for charity. She stood up. She came to me. She put her hands in my forehead. And she said, God bless you. And God will bless in the future, because we have 365 houses everywhere. But all the teachers want to sign first the contract, while you did it for free. And then we began to exchange messages together. And she told me, I'm going to give you a personal prayer that will be for you. And then she said that, give me your hand. So I gave my hand, and she touched my hand. She said, I'm going to give you the power of healing. Believe me, how many people I have healed in this world. This is a real power. And secondly, I told Mother Teresa, God knows one day I'll go to a country where I can teach all the kids from all around the world, and I'm going to spread your message. And the message is, help each other, share with each other, unconditional love. So all the things happened like we said. And then I said that I can have the opportunity to go to different countries and meet different people from the working class, and I am going to help them in a way or another. I am going to put your message not only in words, but in acts. Then at the end, she gave me a huge box with a trunk of a tree. It looked like a trunk of a tree, with an transparent paper. And then she gave a teddy bear to Laura that says, will bring you luck in the future. And then she gave me the huge big cross blessed by her. When we went home and we opened the box, it was more than 10-pound chocolates. So I wanted to test Laura, because she was a little girl. And I said, Laura, what can we do with this big chocolate? And she said, Mother, we can share half of it. We can give to all the kids of the neighborhood. And the other half, we can share with all our cousins. What about you? I'll try only a little, because Mother Teresa said that sharing is the best in the world. I was so happy that she got the message. And this message will follow her all her life until she became a humanitarian woman. And then I had the green card program, the lottery. I won it. I came here. I became a teacher in Brockton High School. And I had the possibility to meet the kids from all over the world. Believe me, every day I used to make my bread, bless it, share it. I used to buy chocolates. I used to buy clothes. I used to buy everything. I treated my students as my kids. Even I told my family, I'm going to keep a part of the money for my students. I want to change their lives. And everybody loved me, and I loved everyone without any condition. And secondly, I used to go every summer to 8 or 10 countries in Europe, and I used to meet different people, making them happy by giving them, by sharing everything with them, by showing love with them. And this is the best in the world. This is the way that you become a humanitarian woman. And another thing is I helped a lot of countries like Cape Verde, Haiti, and Senegal. And I go on helping everybody. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Mom, for that beautiful story. It is so inspirational. My mother, not because she is my mother, but she is the most inspirational woman in my life, because she has inspired me to follow in her footsteps, and she has followed in Mother Teresa's footsteps. So just hearing my mother retell that story brings tears to my eyes, and it makes me so emotional because I can almost relive that day. And I was very young when it happened, so now as an adult, just hearing it from my mom, it's just such a beautiful story. As my mother mentioned, after our meeting and blessing with Mother Teresa, my entire family, we decided to take on this mission of not only sharing, but demonstrating Mother Teresa's message of helping one another, loving one another, sharing with one another, caring for one another, and uniting one another. Mother Teresa believed that small gestures filled with love will change people's lives. And I too am a believer of that, because my book, one of the biggest messages is that we do not have to do grandeur gestures. It's how much love we put into that gesture that makes a difference in people's lives. For those of you who will read my book, you will read several stories of lives we have changed and several examples of different humanitarian gestures my mother and I have done throughout all these years. Due to my love for uniting people in harmony and love, I was inspired this Mother's Day to host a special Mother's Day lunch with some of the most amazing women who have been so touched and so moved by so many powerful messages they read in the pages of Humanitarian Woman. I am so happy to hear and have all of you hear their feedback about this beautiful story. So let's take a look into this special event that I held for a special Mother's Day celebration. Hello everyone, I am so honored to be here today with all of you in honor of Mother's Day. So I would like to welcome all of you to my Humanitarian Woman Mother's Day lunch. And first of all, I would like to take the opportunity to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers in here, and especially to my amazing mother, Marieta Shirko. Thank you. Thank you. My mother, not just because she is my mother, but she is truly such a kind, generous, and loving spirit, and I am who I am today, the humanitarian woman I have become because of my mother. As all of you have read in my book, all of my guests that are joining me today here, this story of Humanitarian Woman would never have happened had it not been for my mother's generous action of teaching the sisters of Mother Teresa of Calcutta for 3 years, 5 hours every day, the Albanian and English language for free of charge. As all of you know, after my mother taught the sisters of Mother Teresa for 3 years free of charge, Mother Teresa came to our home country of Albania, and she wanted to do a very special meeting and blessing for my mother and of course for my entire family. So my entire family had the privilege of being blessed by such a Holy Spirit and by such a beautiful and noble woman. That meeting with Mother Teresa changed, of course, my course of life and my mother's. Since I was a child, my mother always taught me to be very generous with everyone, to love people, to welcome people to our home, to open our home to everyone, and to give people love. So after the blessing with Mother Teresa, that became even a greater passion of mine. And as I grew up, I, of course, looked at Mother Teresa as my role model and figure, but honestly, I also looked at my mother as that role model and inspiration, because my mother followed in the footsteps of Mother Teresa, and in my eyes, to me, she became my second Mother Teresa. So she has been such a big inspiration in my life. For those of you who have had the privilege to know her for years, you know all the generous deeds she has done, especially for our city, Brockton, Massachusetts. My mother was an ESL teacher in Brockton High School for 14 years prior to having taught for 23 years in Europe. And she knows exactly how to treat people, and on a daily basis she would treat not only her students as her own children by constantly bringing them gifts, chocolate, candies, food on a daily basis, but she would treat also the staff at Brockton High School in the same way. She would bake freshly baked bread every single day, bless the bread, and bring it to the main office and share it with all of the faculty. And for those of you who do not know, Brockton High School is a ginormous high school. So a lot of people know my mother, but she did a lot of kind, and heartwarming gestures, also helping different nations, and particularly different nations of where her students came from. She has done a lot for the Haitian community in Brockton. My mother has sent a lot of help and aid to Haiti, not just right after the earthquake, but she has been doing that on a yearly basis. She has helped a lot, a community in Senegal, and she has also done a lot for the Cape Verdean community in Brockton, which is a big community as well. And so what my mother has done in all these years that we have been in the United States, I followed also in her footsteps. All of you wonderful ladies here know, who know me personally, but also who know me through the pages of Humanitarian Woman, that I have been the personal interpreter of the son of Rocky Marciano Jr. And I have accompanied Rocky Marciano Jr. Every year since the year 2012 to Ripateatina, Italy, in Abruzzo, Italy, where they do a award ceremony for Rocky Marciano called Premio Rocky Marciano. And I go with him every summer, stay there, and for all the work that I do, whether it is in front of the stage, whether it is for TV interviews, whether it is for newspaper interviews, I dedicate all my work for charity to the city of Ripateatina. And I have done the same thing here in Brockton. I have become the ambassador of Brockton through Rocky Marciano. We have hosted in my house people from all over the world, a lot from Italy, a lot of guests from Italy, a lot of guests from Spain, a lot of guests also from France. And all our guests that come to our house, we not only want to make them feel welcomed in our home, but I want to give them the experience of a lifetime. So of course, I like to plan a beautiful itinerary for all my guests, bring them to the best and fanciest restaurants in all of the area, take them sightseeing everywhere around Boston, Newport, Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island, and they never forget that. And if I have the opportunity, I like to surprise them, just like one of the surprises you read about in my book, and bring them even to a city of their dreams, Las Vegas, and plan a whole trip for them. And I think that these are the qualities that my mother instilled in me, because my mother taught me to always be hospitable. Hospitality is the best thing we can give to one another. Through hospitality, that is how we show love for one another. And my book, Humanitarian Woman, is all about unconditional love. Obviously, unconditional love for people, whether they are strangers or dear friends, and unconditional love for the family. Mother Teresa believed that unconditional love starts in the family. Therefore, family is very important. Again, as many of you know, I have had and I have such a beautiful relationship with my mother, which I treasure in my heart. My mother is my best friend, because honestly, in this world, mother is number one and the person who really loves you unconditionally. So I am truly, truly blessed to have a mother like my mother, Marieta Chirco, and I'm so honored that today a lot of you are meeting her for the first time, and I hope that you get other opportunities as well to meet her. But I would like to have my mother say a few words right now.
Laura, thank you so much for your wonderful words. You are a wonderful daughter. You did everything that I told you to do. But to do this, you have to be patient all your life. Otherwise, if you cut it in the middle, you are not going to realize anything. And if all the mothers could do this, we could have another world, which is the best. Secondly, she spoke so much, and I instilled to her the unconditional love for the people. Since she was a little girl, I used to say, Laura, and to my son too, I told, you have to respect the old people and you have to respect the children, like all the other people. Because you know that there are different peoples with different ideas, different kinds, and of course she did everything, like you said over there. There's a lot of things in the book, but I'm going to mention one. Every summer we used to go in Europe to 8 to 10 countries. And I was very happy to go there. Do you know why? You see, of course, because I saw a lot and this and that, but I used to buy things, take money with me, and I used to meet different people that I don't even know now, and I changed their life even for 1 hour, even for 2 hours, even for the whole day. They never forget. That's why we have to be like this. And that's why Mother Teresa, in one of her saying, she says, at the end of your life, nobody is going to ask you how many degrees do you have, where did you work, how much money you have, but they are going to say, did you change anybody's life? And my mother too, she told me when I was a little girl, if you change the life of a person for you, and another, then it will be like a chain, and we could have another world. But you are so wonderful. I want to thank all of you that you got the book and you read it with passion, and especially for this world that we are living now, this is the right book. I wish you the best. Happy Mother's Day, and have all the best luck in life.
And right now, as many of you have read, I really loved writing since I was a child. It was a big passion of mine. I've had many passions, but writing was one of them. And when I was actually 15 years old, I wrote my mother 2 poems, which I cherish them to this day. And they are also, of course, in my book. And so, since it is Mother's Day, I would like to read these poems one more time to my mother to make her think of back when I was 15. And these words in the poems couldn't be truer even to this day. So 20 years later, I still think that these are true words. So the first poem is called My Hero. Someone who loves whatever she does, a person with a heart filled with love. She is the greatest woman in whatever she does. This lovely lady is my dear mom. She loves to help people in every way. She's trying to help them every day. She loves to wish upon everyone happiness and love. She's got a blessing from up above. She taught the sisters of Mother Teresa 3 years free of charge and got blessings from Mother Teresa straight from her heart. When they met, she blessed my entire family along with me. It was an incredibly beautiful thing to see. My mom has encouraged me to do good things, to be outstanding in everything. Now I understand what she is trying to do for me, and so I see that this really amazing mother is a hero to me. And my second poem is entitled, Remember My Words. Oh daughter, my dear daughter, you must listen to what I say. My sayings will lead you to a good way. I know what's right for you, always, all the time. I've seen your happy moments and tears when you cry. I know what's wrong and right for you to do because I have been your age too. You should never trust anyone but me. When you become my age, darling, you will see. There are people we love and enemies out there. Watch out for the bad ones, but don't you fear. You'll learn to love and trust as the years go by. You'll learn the meaning of a mother's love. The person who is proud of everything you do is the person who is teaching everything to you. You know that your mother thinks of you every day. When you need help, she's the person who will pray. The values I have taught you, you will always keep with you. That's how I know you are remembering me too. So I wanted to share those since it is Mother's Day, and again I would like to take the opportunity one more time to wish all the mothers out there a very, very happy Mother's Day. All the mothers are special in their own ways, and I hope that you have, all the mothers, have a beautiful relationship like the relationship that you have told here in the pages of Humanitarian Woman that my mother and I do. So today we are very honored for the Humanitarian Woman Mother's Day lunch to be featuring also the Rocky Marciano Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, a Rocky Marciano wine. We are very proud because Rocky Marciano is a Brockton native, therefore we are representing our champion and our city of Brockton.
So my family and I, we went out to dinner at a local restaurant, and my father handed out some books the night that we went to the restaurant. And the book was called Do Something Beautiful for God, The Essential Teachings of Mother Teresa, 365 Daily Reflections. They all appreciated my dad's gesture, and then after our meal, we went on our way. A few weeks later, Laura and her mother went to the same restaurant. And while speaking to one of the staff, Laura had mentioned her book and her amazing connection to Mother Teresa. The woman working at the restaurant remembered this and remembered that she still had the book that my father gave her. And so she went and she gave it to Laura. So my family and I later found out that Laura was doing a book signing at the same restaurant. So my whole family, we wanted to go and meet Laura, and we wanted to hear her story and buy her book. I believe that Mother Teresa brought us all together here today. So after talking to Laura and reading her book, The Humanitarian Woman, I realized that we're very much alike. We are both teachers who are passionate about relation building and making meaningful connections, not only with just our students, but really everybody that we meet. We are each grounded to our family roots, and we always put our faith in our family first. And we're forever grateful for our parents who influenced who and where we are today. As a kindergarten special education teacher, I always try to instill in my students the idea of do good, feel good. This is exactly why I think the humanitarian heart is all about. I hope to continue to be grounded and to be inspired by people like Laura and her amazing mother. God bless.
So my favorite part of Laura Chirco's book, Humanitarian Woman, was when Laura's brother Dritan was contacted by Brockton's Catholic Charities that refugees from Kosovo and Albanian territory were coming to America and would be living nearby the Chircos in Brockton. Laura states in her book that Dritan requested his mother to, quote, open the refrigerator and make a huge basket from all the food we can spare, end quote. And of course Majita did, as he requested. In the days following, and especially to interpret for the refugees, he and his mother accompanied the refugees to the hospital, to stores, to the immigration office, all with great pleasure and kindly free of charge. My favorite part of Humanitarian Woman is Laura's chapter titled Helping the Refugees. Because I believe American citizens cannot begin to imagine how stressful, perhaps embarrassing, desperate it must feel to the person who comes to another country with little or no language skills of the country in which you are praying to find safety and a new start in life. Today, this Mother's Day weekend, immigrants still risk their lives to enter America so they can get away from danger in their country and participate in the freedoms that our country has to offer. So, as kind as it was of Dritan and his family to assist those refugees from Kosovo, we must find ourselves extending the same kind of much-needed assistance to our current immigrants and refugees and those who need that kind of assistance in the future. This chapter of your book was so very timely, Laura, and maybe, sadly, that is why it was my favorite part of Humanitarian Woman. One of the most important messages of the book, Humanitarian Woman, is how Laura summarized her chapter, Helping the Refugees. She wrote, quote, when we help immigrants, it is not the quantity of our humanitarian gesture that makes an impression on them. It is the quality of our humanitarian gesture that leaves an imprint on their hearts, end quote. It is the quality of care, help, assistance, kindness that we remember from time to time, and that should prompt us to pay that care, that kindness forward to others when we see someone need. When the kindnesses are done for us, it teaches us to do kindness for others. There probably will always be kindness and kindness needs, and hopefully we pay them forward when we see those needs. Congratulations on publishing your message in your book, Humanitarian Woman, Laura. You wrote from life experiences and with love on many levels. Thank you for letting me share my opinions, but maybe more important, thank you for giving me the opportunity to wish you, your mom Majita, a happy Mother's Day.
Hi, my name's Carolyn. I was a student teacher at Brockton High School in 2020, which is how I met Lauda. Throughout the book, Humanitarian Woman, obviously as the title says, she talks a lot about herself as a humanitarian woman and her mother and how she learned a lot of those skills from her mother. A quote from Mother Teresa I've always really liked is that people will often forget the good you do for them, but do it anyway. That's something as a teacher that I really strive to do in my classroom and in my life. I know that not all my students like what I teach or how I teach, but I still do it for them anyways. I really loved that message throughout the book as well. I feel that Laura and her mother always thought of other people and didn't necessarily think about how something was going to be received, but they chose to do it anyway. And that is what being a humanitarian woman means to me.
Hi, my name is Lisa and I'm a friend of Laura and her family. I met them a few years ago when I relocated to the US from the United Kingdom, and they have been really good friends to me ever since. I absolutely adored the book Humanitarian Woman. I loved every chapter inside out. However, if there was one chapter that I had to choose that really resonated with me, it would be the poems of love that Laura wrote for her mother. I thoroughly enjoyed the poems and found them to be a beautiful expression of the relationship between a mother and daughter. When Laura talks about how much her mother always encouraged her and how proud she was of her achievements, it truly reminded me of the relationship that I have with my own mother, who's back in the United Kingdom. Especially when Laura talks about how much her mother taught her the key values that she'll carry with her throughout her entire life, and how that's how she knows her mother will know she is always remembering her. I really identified with that part of the poem because although I have a long distance relationship with my own mother, I always carry with me the values that she taught me, such as treating others with kindness, always using compassion, and putting myself in the other person's shoes. So overall, I found the poems to be truly, truly beautiful and such a wonderful way to describe the mother-daughter relationship.
Hello, my name's Karen, and I'm so appreciative that Laura invited me to the Mother's Day celebration with her mom, and I was so happy that I got to meet her. It's such a great feeling. I wanted to say that the favorite part of my book was any part that spoke about Mother Teresa. I just could imagine being there and enjoying it. And also my next favorite part was the photos. I enjoyed the memories and seeing what the people look like and trying to visualize, myself in the book. And one of the most important messages I find is at the end where there's the reflective questions. And one of the messages that I liked was sharing, especially of the food. And that food can warm your heart, and the more that you give, the more that you get. My reflective question that I liked was, do you discriminate against someone based on their religion, race, or culture? That had me thinking a lot about a lot of different things. And of course, Laura's mom didn't discriminate. So I'm just so happy to be here, and I'm halfway done with the book, so I can't wait to finish it. I enjoy it immensely. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kathy Petty, and I'm a friend of Laura's. Very honored to come to her book debut today. I think everything is special about Laura's book in every way. My favorite chapter was Helping Hands. I just think in today's world and how it's been this past year, that any kind act we can do for anyone as far as like anything that she mentions in her book, so it would be a great thing to read. Any kind act we do for a person, a kind word, just to say hello to even someone who's having a bad day, makes all the difference in the world. I think if we live our life being grateful for all that are those that are in our lives, we would all have a better life. So thank you, Laura, for inviting me to your book. I hope you have much success with all you do. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Good afternoon. My name is Joyce McDonough, And I had the privilege of having Laura Cherko, the author of Humanitarian Woman, in the 3rd grade when she was only 9 years old and had just come from Albania. I was an ESL teacher, but I really didn't have to teach Laura very much English. She was very fortunate that her mother was bilingual, probably trilingual, and Laura is multilingual. But I just wanted to say about this book that it's Laura's autobiography, really. She left Albania, came to Brockton, Massachusetts, and started a whole new life. She graduated with honors from Brockton High School, from Stonehill College, and she has gone on to be a teacher at Brockton High School. It's a wonderful book because it speaks of 3 important threads in life: faith, family, and friends. And she's had a lot of friends here today, and her family is so important to her. Her mother Marietta, her dad Fred, and her brother Dritan, and faith in God, and through God to meet Mother Teresa, who had an incredible influence on Laura's life. And Laura, in turn, with everyone she meets, spreads the idea of being kind, doing things without expecting anything in return. And I am so happy and proud for her and her family, and I'm very fortunate that I met her and her family so many years ago.
I'm so honored to be here celebrating my friend Laura and her mother on this special day. The book Humanitarian Woman is filled with good principles and human values. The author portrays beautifully the strong bond a mother and a daughter share. She has done a great job telling her family story, her encounter with Mother Teresa, and being blessed by Mother Teresa. As you have read in Laura's story, she mentioned that Mother Teresa is from Albania, and being from Albania myself, this book is very special to me. The most important message in this book is about helping each other, sharing your wealth with people in need, loving and spreading love. I'd like to wish my friend Laura the best of luck and great success in her road to being a humanitarian woman and following in Mother Teresa's footsteps. Thank you and happy Mother's Day.
So what was most inspiring for me while I was reading this book was the impact that Laura's mother had on her, not only as a child, but in her entire life, by all the examples that she set as the acts of kindness that she did for other people. And as a mother of 2 girls, I hope to aspire to have those examples set for my girls, so that one day that they can learn about compassion and empathy for other people, not only to make other people feel good, but to make themselves feel good. And then they're sharing this goodness, and hopefully the other people will be able to pass that on as well. And I did just quickly want to reference a quote in the book that really stood out to me. It's chapter 25, entitled Guardian Angels. It's on page 143. And it says, quote, "It is not important to do great things, but it is important to put love into every little thing we do," unquote. And I just found this so simply put, but so powerful, in that I feel like sometimes we feel like we have to do these big, elaborate, expensive things for other people in order for them to have any type of meaning. But it's in the day-to-day little things that we do for other people that really make the more powerful message. And throughout the book, I felt this theme, and I really enjoyed reading the book for that reason.
Hi everybody, my name is Holly. I just want to say thank you to Laura for inviting me here today to share in this Mother's Day lunch in celebration of Humanitarian Woman. What the book means to me, I really feel like it's a message of love, of sharing, of selflessness and generosity. And it really was inspiring for me to read this story of Laura's own humanitarian journey, and how through small actions we can all be humanitarian women, and that there's really no act too small to show other people that you care about them, and that you respect them, and that you love them and see them for the person that they are. And I think I encourage everyone to read this book. You can buy it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, but I think that it will really change your life to hear Laura and her family's story, and I think that we can all learn something from the example that they've set.
Hi, I'm so honored to be here today at this Mother's Day luncheon. This is probably one of the best presents I could have ever had. I met Laura probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she was at a book signing at a restaurant in Easton, and we got to talking, and the next thing you know, we get an invitation to come to this luncheon. It was just a wonderful, wonderful surprise, and I'm honored to be here. I have read Laura's book, Humanitarian Woman. It's absolutely wonderful. I don't really have a favorite part, but when it starts off in the beginning with Laura being a young girl, 5 years old, meeting Mother Teresa in the street in her hometown in Albania, she was definitely given a blessing by Mother Teresa. This blessing, I think, has carried through with Laura up until this day. It was a blessing of love, caring, and kindness. And Laura has shown that to me and to my daughter who's with me today. And she's just a wonderful person, and her mother is just as wonderful, and they are so lucky and blessed to have met Mother Teresa. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. But this day has been so nice, and probably one of my best Mother's Day presents. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Hi, I met Laura and Mom like in a long time, because Laura is my co-worker, and we work in the same office. And every single time I saw Laura, I saw the mom at the same time. They're like I won't say the twin sister, but like the flower, okay, the mother-daughter flower, like all the time. They've been there all the time. If Laura said, okay, Ren, we go somewhere, like a restaurant, have a trip, and then I would see the mom sit in the car and with us all the time. So I feel that's so sweet, especially like today is like a Mother's Day. So I feel it's so beautiful, because talk about my personal story. When I was a young age, I lost my mom. So every time I saw Laura and her mom, they are so sweet. So it's kind of shaped my memory about, okay, I will try to imagine if that's me and my mom. That's so beautiful. So I will say, like, in my life, that's such a wonderful experience, and I can meet this such a beautiful friend and the mom. So I just wish everybody, enjoy and the time when you spend with your mom. Okay, yeah. Happy Mother's Day one more time.
Here to share a few thoughts and reflections about this wonderful book, Humanitarian Woman. The first night I began reading it, I got to page 43 and turned the light off, just saying, wow, I cannot believe this. When Laura met Mother Teresa in the square, I could just picture the whole scene, and I could picture Mother Teresa's eye contact with Laura and asking her to come to her and giving her the miraculous medal. I guess it struck me because the miraculous medal is what I have always treasured, and the Blessed Mother is my person that I go to, and I pray the Hail Mary all day. All day long I pray. I pray for everyone in the world. I pray for people in my family. I pray for people that I know. Well, the second night I continued with the reading, and I couldn't put it down, despite how tired I was. The 3 words that come to me from Mother Teresa are help, share, and love. And it's really, it's the 10 Commandments condensed into the 2 greatest commandments: to love thy neighbor as love the Lord thy God, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Love, share, forgive. And I think forgiveness of all 3 might be might be a difficult virtue. So many stories, and the one that I was just speaking with Laura's mother, Marieta, about the Syrian couple in Spain who Laura and her mother had met when they were making a telephone call, and she took their money. And they could see, you know, here was a Muslim woman in Spain, and she could somehow, with their beautiful eyes, they could see and perceive that she didn't have much, and she must be struggling. And sure enough, she was. But they reached out to this woman, and now the woman and her husband have 2 children, and Laura's family, Marieta and her father, they have provided the material things, not only the material things, for these children ever since birth, including cribs and carriages, clothing, and food. And to this day, those children know who they are, and they recognize them as manna from heaven. And that's truly what they are and have been to so many people. I taught school, and I can remember Marieta coming to me with presents. She would bring presents, and all through the book you read about presents, giving presents, sharing, just giving, sharing. And now, this is before I knew anything about Mother Teresa. I am so grateful that Laura is again in my life, and as her mother, her beautiful, beautiful mother. And I thank God for this blessing, because they have blessed so many in this life by their presence, by their love, by their sharing, and their forgiveness. So it's been a wonderful day meeting people with whom Laura has connected, beautiful people, wonderful friends, lots of teachers, and you will not believe this story. It is a work of art, and it's a work of Laura's heart and soul. Not only words, but her heart and soul. I will always treasure it and treasure their friendship. Thank you.
I would like to thank all of my wonderful women, all the guests that I had today at this beautiful Mother's Day lunch. I am truly touched by all of the wonderful comments that you have all said about my book, Humanitarian Woman, and I am truly lucky and blessed to have all of you in my life. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and a happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there. Thank you for making this day so special for me. I love you all. Laura. Thank you everyone for watching my special Mother's Day TV show. And I encourage all of you to go and pick up a copy of my book, Humanitarian Woman, and to read about all these inspirational stories which will inspire you to find the humanitarian within you. And of course, if you would like to have a personalized autographed copy, please email me at lauraq17@yahoo.com. I look forward to hearing from you via email, and hopefully to see all of you one day and meet you all in the future and in my future events. Thank you, God bless, and good night.